Okay, folks, here we are. My gosh, April 10th, 2025. We had an incredible program today. And when you arrive on time, you get the bonus beforehand. We have a little dance party. Yes, it's a little fun. We were having a dance party to Jill Scott, living our life like it's golden. So, how about that? We're going to start our program with that. And if you're not familiar, do a little iTunes or wherever you get your music, Spotify. You're going to love that. Yes. Okay. So our program really important. And what I'm going to do, as always, folks, is bring the data, but also we're going to get right into tactics. Okay. I don't want to spend a lot of time thinking about, all right, here's why we should be doing this. We know why we should be having more visibility, but I want to kind of get behind the scenes to some things that I've been researching that I want to share with you, because it will also give you a great understanding of why, when you ask your clients, your partners, your colleagues, your coworkers, whatever, for a testimonial for you, why there's hesitation. Okay. Things that you may say, oh, I never thought about that. So you can then move to the next step with them. So we seek to understand before we get the results. Okay. So very quickly, I'm Kathleen Caldwell, founder of C-Suite Network Women's Coaching and Consulting Council. I have to say, I've been struggling with visibility my entire life. So we teach what we need to learn, right, folks? We teach what we need to learn. And it took a lot for me. You can see some of these pictures on the screen. It took a lot for me to be out there in the world. I grew up with the Midwestern nice, which is, and it's sad to say, but children were meant to be seen and not heard. Okay. And so being visible, having a point of view, having a voice is something that I have had to learn since being a grown up. And I'm not fully a grown up yet, like many of you. So being out there, like being on a cover of a book, accepting an award, having my picture on a article or a column, or being at the podium is something that even to this day I have to push myself towards. That's why having a council, having a community, having some way that you have to regularly be in front of the camera is so critical. And guess what? We're going to get confronted all the time. So I want to show this to you because this was not how it always was. I was very content to be behind the scenes, but I realized that I had to be visible. And as our dear, dear colleague Sheila Anderson says, people need to know you before they need you. And so I realized I have to be out there in the world. And this, our program today is really all about the transformation that we go through. And now that I know some techniques, it makes it easier for me to be in front of the camera and do the things that I love to do, which is promote you as esteemed faculty members in our council. That's the thing that I love to do more than anything. So quickly, yes, thank you. So turning adversity, or turning something that is a challenge for you into working on it so it's no longer a challenge, but turning it into something that's really powerful for you. So I get to share the stage with all of you, which makes me so happy, really so happy. Okay. So be sure to check out our YouTube channel. Oh my goodness, we're up to about 175 videos. We have so much content. C-Suite Network, thank you, is now giving us more amplification of our videos. So we're really happy about that. Check out Gloria St. Martin Lowry. We're talking about what's happened with DEI. Last week, we kicked off our official week to World Appreciate Your Coach Consultant Week. And it is fantastic. The posts that are happening is great. And I just want to tell you, guess what? We're going to continue it for another week. 1 week is not enough time for us. Okay. So be sure to check this out on the C-Suite Network Women's Coaching Consulting Council page on LinkedIn, because that's where we're hosting all of this. Okay. And of course, we talked about your category of one, coaches, consultants. Hey, who's shaping the future? Thank you to all of you. You can see in the right-hand column, Carol Kammerer, Susan K. Younger, Deb Creer, Angela Fowler, Christina DiGiacomo, Sheila Anderson, all in that program. Really, really great. Thank you, Carol, to you, LinkedIn Leadership Leverage. You drop some gold in that program. Thank you. And of course, Susan K. Younger launching a brand new humanitarianism initiative. Check that out on YouTube. And we also talked about why we have to be, as coaches and consultants, a media company, how to leverage our content. Okay, so let's jump in. I would like to ask you, and again, our promises for the program is this is going to be fast, energetic, thoughtful, and you will get value from our time together. I absolutely promise this for our program. So I'm curious from each of you, think about this question. And if you'd like to participate in this, we'd love for you to. But when was the last time that you felt truly seen and appreciated for you and your brilliance? When was the last time that you were able to really be seen and appreciated? And, we can always do self appreciation, that type of thing. But it's great when your clients do this. So, thinking about when was the last time you were actually appreciated, not only for what you do, but who you are. Jump in, jump in. All right, we're already starting to think, right? Okay. If it's been more than a couple weeks or a couple months, you're in the right place at the right time with the right people because we're going to talk about that. Yeah, please jump in. Hey, this is your time to brag. Do we have
So
any jump in,
okay,
John?
I can hop in a few days ago. So one of the things I've been doing with my program is certifying coaches. They already have a wonderful program, right? So they add my program and they get their clients engaged, they get better results. So I met with two coaches that I had done that with a couple of days ago, and they were so ecstatic because they're getting better results. And what we do, because I don't compete, right? We kind of mesh. So they were
Yeah.
very appreciative of that. Now they want to do a workshop together. So felt pretty good to hear that.
Thank you, John. They were ecstatic and certainly appreciated you for your brilliance in creating your whole body of work and your whole licensing and training program, right?
Yeah, thank you. And I love it.
Yeah, thank you. Good, good. Hey, and on a curious side, bringing the masculine, the male point of view in here, is this something that guys talk about? When were you
Um,
last appreciated?
what you mean? What do we talk? Guys talk about being appreciated? Is that?
Yeah.
We're a little more subdued about it, I think. That's why I like with you guys because we kind of like, we kind of just take it in, and we don't really celebrate as much as we should. So this is good.
Thank you.
Right.
Market opportunity, sisters, when you work with men and you have men, and again, we just talk about people who identify as women and identify as men and just take that however you want to. But
Yes,
appreciation is it low.
yeah,
It
men
low.
really need, yeah, men need appreciation, especially from women. I think that's an excellent point. So I think when you're working with men clients, I think you need to give them a lot of appreciation. Yeah,
Thank you. Great, John.
excellent.
All right, golden nugget number one. How about that? Good. Thank you. Molly, jump in. When was the last time you were appreciated for yourself and your brilliance?
About 10:36 this morning.
Okay, come on, bring it.
I had a final coaching session with a client, and imitation is a form of flattery. And she talked about how often she thinks about me and how when she's working with her daughter or having a conflict with her daughter, what would Molly do in this? And asking questions versus instead of giving advice and whatnot. So imitation, the form of flattery.
Okay, ladies, I think we've already gotten a distinction here about a testimonial, right? You know, here's before, here's the challenge, and then here's the outcome. What would Molly do? Isn't that great? That sounds to me like a really great post. My client said to me, what would Molly do? Yes, great. Congratulations, Molly. Excellent.
Thank you.
Good. Yeah, great. Any other comments? Of course we appreciate ourselves, don't we? That we're our best clients. So, that's it important too. Great. So, this is something to be thinking about and I think to me, I like to give first and then ask to receive as well. So, the more that I'm doing posts for others and I'm appreciating others, the more it just comes back to me. And so that's kind of a philosophy thing. But I want to share with you something that I've noticed is the reason why people generally do not like being appreciated or being visible in the world. And I want to share with you something that was phenomenal around a statistic that you will want to take. So, stopping to pause is, when was the last time you were seen and appreciated for you and your brilliance? Hey, and thinking about your clients, when was the last time they were as well? Because there's a lot of data here, ladies. Sorry, there's a lot of words, but the waiting and the hoping strategy does not work. Okay. As you can read here on the screen, data shows that 83% of satisfied clients they're willing to refer you or do a testimonial or do a shout out for you for an acknowledgement. However, 29% will actually do this without being specifically prompted and guided. So your client base, your partners, your tribe, your community, they want to support you, but unless we actually give them a way to do it that's easy, they will not do it. Okay? And I'm sure you found this out, and feel free to jump in, raise your hand on this. And so what we know for the truth is that we can't be privately excellent. That's all. Those are like the table stakes. We have to be really, really great at what we do: coaching, consulting, listening, advising, strategizing, all of the things that we do as coaches and consultants. But if we don't have the public visibility about it, the bottom line is that is the absolute fastest path to under earning and burning out. So I just want to pause on this for a moment, because this is really important. Is if we're not feeling nurtured in the world with public visibility, it's a path to not earning enough income, not being seen, not being held as the category of one in what you're doing. It also can lead to burnout, means that we're working harder all the time. So I want to get your point of view to relate to that particular quote. Is if we're not publicly being seen, it's really hard. We cannot be the best kept secret in the world. Hi, Sheila. Welcome. So glad you're here. Yeah, great.
Are you sure? Sorry,
Angela, come on, Angela.
Are you sure you weren't listening in on the conversation Dan and I were having last night about changing our marketing strategy?
You know what? I think I was. I think I was. Yeah,
You were
exactly.
eavesdropping. I'm telling you, you've got our wires tapped. Yeah, we've been hard selling this. We've been focusing on hard selling this webinar that was supposed to be today. I don't know if you got my Voxer or not. And we realize we've gotten away from two things. We've gotten away from, and I in particular have gotten away from being the thought leader publicly that I am, and doing the one-on-one meetings and building relationships with, laying the groundwork with people so
Yes.
that they either, become clients or refer clients, because not everybody's going to become a client. It's just, but a lot more people are going to refer potential clients.
Right.
So, I'm recommitting myself to going to all the networking things that I need to go to, and, and circling back with everybody that I keep saying I'm going to have a one-on-one meeting with, and stopping with the hard sells on LinkedIn and doing more, not even marketing anything, just doing thought pieces, just
Yes.
posts that make you stop and think.
Yes. Yes.
Because social media marketing, we leaned heavily for this webinar that wasn't. We leaned heavily on social media marketing, and that's a failed strategy.
Certainly frustrating, right? Very frustrating.
Yeah, and that's, we'll talk in our private session, but there's a lot that went into that. But yeah, it's frustrating. It's disheartening. I'm starting to wonder if my WooCommerce works. I know it does. It's a visibility thing. Dan said one of my posts on LinkedIn got 23 impressions.
Well, and so it comes back to, Angela, thank you for reinforcing the point, is we're working so hard behind the scenes, right, folks? And if we're not visible out in the world enough and having people acknowledge and appreciate what we're doing to translate then into people taking action, it makes me, I'll just say, it makes me wonder, hey, how truly effective am I? Is what I'm doing good, right? Is it making a difference in the world? Can you all relate to this? Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Thank you,
And
Angela. Very, very important. Thanks for being so vulnerable to hop in, right?
it's not that, and I know it's not that I'm not effective. It's not that my WooCommerce
Right.
plugin isn't working, because if it wasn't, I would hear about it, have heard about it by now.
Yeah,
It's that the people aren't seeing me.
right. Well, you're in the perfect place today. So thank you for bringing this up. Thank you. Susan, jumping over to you. You've got something to say about this. We want to hear
Yeah,
you.
I think it's also sharing appreciation with others at times that they may never have heard of you, but I have found that if I'm in a conference and somebody's speaking and I can align with their message and give them a shout out, I'm surprised how many times somebody who I would think would never want to know me has reached out and made the connection to get to know me because I gave them kudos for what you said. I understand what you speak to. I appreciate that that message is aligned with whatever it is that aligns with something I find important in life and business. And I've made some incredible connections just by sharing that appreciation. And then they come back and go, wow, how did you achieve this? And you're like going, what, that caught your eye? They're then looking at you, they're then asking for a connection on LinkedIn, and they aren't people I would have found otherwise. So I think it's as much the appreciation we want as the appreciation we give.
Okay, so if you do a little reaction, put a little sparkle, put a little hearts in there for Susan, because that is so true, right? Yeah, so true. Thank you. And we thank you, Susan, because we're building a cycle and a virtuous cycle of appreciation for others. And it definitely will come back to us. And I think there's also, I'm going to talk in a moment about how we can consciously have testimonials to get more visibility. So what you're talking about, Susan, is so perfect because I want to share with you something that was in the Harvard Business Rule that view that blew my mind, which is a study that was done in 2024. This is a thing, folks. It's a real thingy here, is the private praise paradox that 82% of, you can read this on the screen, 82% of top performers receive significant private appreciation, an email behind closed doors, in one-on-one coaching sessions, in teams, the work you're doing. I cannot tell you with my corporate work that I do, I get so much great appreciation in the break room when we're taking a little break or behind the scenes or during sessions. There's so much private praise, but only 24%, according to the Harvard Business Review, 24% of people were able to translate that into market recognition. So we have got a great opportunity, not only for ourselves, but also for our clients, is to help them step in. And Carol Kammerer, with your new movement that you're leading, your new revolution, this is going to be really, really critical because to have people start to get public praise and public recognition is going to make the difference, whether they are hired or they're not hired, or they get the larger, bigger promotion kind of thing. So really important. So what are your thoughts about this? What are you seeing around private praise and public recognition? It's a paradox, both are both true. What are you seeing? We're not sharing it. We're not sharing that. Yeah, thank you. I think because people don't have systems, they're not used to it. We haven't normalized it. And we are now normalizing it in our C-suite network, Women's Coaching and Consulting Council. Yeah, Susan, jump in.
I think a lot of times when the praise comes privately, we're like grateful for it. But there's that, as you called it, that Midwestern shucks kind of I don't toot my own horn. It's great if someone else does it for me,
Yes.
but I'm not one to stand up and go, whoo, look at this. You know,
Yeah.
so we have to find those ways to whether it's could you please put out a comment for me and actually ask for somebody to give us that beautiful testimony? Or we
Yes.
have to be in a situation where when someone gives us a feedback, like I frequently, when somebody gives me feedback that's positive in a conference there where I'm like, oh, thank you, this is great, I appreciate this. Just being able to acknowledge that gives you that sense of a public piece that people are like, wow, they actually didn't just take that for granted. They're really in conversation. And those things bring about more of the recognition in a way that isn't really time consuming, but it
Yes.
still puts you out and forward.
Thank you. Thank you. Absolutely agree. And, there's something about this, and jump in on your point of view. Are you also seeing this with your clients? Because when you model the way, folks, when you model the way to be more visible, I want to talk with you why what I'm noticing is why people are not doing that more. And I think it's actually a strength. It's a capacity, it's a something that we can build as a resiliency, but it's also a system and a structure type of thing. And I think people are looking for this. And Sheila, could I put you on the spot and ask you, what are you seeing from a branding expert and from working in corporate for so long, so successfully? What are you seeing with corporate executives, perhaps even specifically women?
Yeah, well, I think it's interesting that it's like we do it all in private and we don't offer the opportunity, so it has me thinking, if I give somebody some private praise, why don't I say, hey, would you like me to, do this publicly? Would you like me to write a testimonial? So I think if we lead the way with that, hopefully people will, in our circle will do the same and follow suit, right? So I think that's interesting to me. So we all do it privately, but why don't even I say, hey, I loved your talk. Great job. I really understood this point, really resonated with me. What would you like me to do a LinkedIn testimonial? Would you like me to write a testimonial for you? I mean, so I think if we start doing that,
Yes,
so that just I think even in the corporate world, I see a lot of the private praise.
yes,
It doesn't translate then into, that career move that they want. Maybe their supervisor is praising them and that's awesome, right?
yes.
But then they're not visible within the corporation because nobody knows about that praise. So, but there are, like in the corporate world, there's a lot of those tools where you can give somebody appreciation and then it becomes, well, but that's just your normal job. Like I'm praising you just for doing your job. So what did you do over and above?
Right. Yeah, yeah,
Right? So I always
yeah.
think about what went over and above. So I don't this is a really interesting topic, Kathleen, and it's right. It's obviously we've been talking about it for a while on how to get all of us get better at that to help other people as well. So it's not just our clients, it's us doing it as well to other people. So leading the way,
Wow.
as you do very well.
Thank you, Sheila. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. And well, Christina, we'll come over to you in a moment. I even like the idea, and this was as a result of what you were sharing, Sheila, is why don't we start naming this? That I'm now in a praise, I've got a new praise policy, or I've got a new praise challenge or initiative where I'm praising people forward kind of thing, or I'm appreciating them forward out into social. And so maybe even to naming and creating a system around this is I'm doing a link to even declare, hey, I'm doing a LinkedIn campaign for myself and for others that I appreciate. May I appreciate you publicly in LinkedIn? So I think perhaps having a little system, because isn't it also about the systems, the discipline, the routine, the
Mhm.
regularity of what we're doing? So yeah, very good. So we're going to name that in our council. We're going to start a global initiative as we have started. World Appreciate Your Coach Consultant Week, which is now going to be weeks, 2 weeks. Yes. Great. Thank you. Thank you. Excellent. Christina, jump in.
So Sheila actually just made me realize a lot of times like if you offer some to do something for someone, they'll automatically be like, oh, let me do the same thing for you. So like sort of a mutual appreciation party where so it's um I'm trying to think of how this would come up in conversation. Sheila certainly articulated it better than I did, but um you know, like telling someone, hey, would you like me to put that in a testimonial? Like, and maybe like if you have enjoyed working with me, we could do a mutual testimonial. Like most people would be like, yeah, sure, no problem. That's at least how I would think about it.
Thank you, Christina. Mutual reciprocity, right? And not like it's even like a quid quo pro that, you know, if you do it, then I'll do it. But it's more like we start and we lead the way, right, Christina?
Yep.
That's what I'm hearing. Yeah. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Great. Deb, jump in.
So I have it built in to the podcast. So somebody does a recording on the podcast, and within an hour, I think at the most, I forget what the timing is, they get a thank you so much email. You will be contacted when your program goes live, yada, yada, yada. But will you go right now to LinkedIn and give a recommendation? And I would say probably 90% do. And there's a link, they click. The only time people pretty much don't is I have people who come back and say, I don't know how to do a recommendation. So that's a totally different problem, right? And so then I will walk them through that. But yeah, I just make it easy. Will you please give us a recommendation? Here's the link.
Yeah.
And because they're reading that email, they just had the podcast interview. They're like, okay, sure. And they go and they do that.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. And Carol, could I ask you to jump in too, because you do this very, very well with technology with Talkadot, your
Oh,
technology that you use when you
sure.
speak. I mean, it's so impressive how you use that.
Okay, so Talkadot is a speaker's app that you can purchase, and there's a QR code that you present on the screen at the end, and it just takes you through some very quick questions and an opportunity to leave a recommendation. And so within minutes of ending the presentation, you have a collection of little snippets that you can use. And also it has a graphic representation. So many percent thought that you were inspirational, or it was relevant, or whatever. And it's kind of fun.
And you've been so successful with that. So congratulations. Yeah. Talkadot.com, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And
Great.
it was developed by a speaker who knew that we needed a system. And it's really easy to use. There is a cost associated with it, but it's fun.
Very, very nice. Thank you. Thank you. Good. So let me put in the chat, I've got the first thank you, the bonuses for being here live. Thank you. Now, most speakers would say, don't distract people with something that they could start going off and doing see, you're so excited, I know, to get going on this, that you may just start jumping in and immediately starting to use the client win story and or the thank you turns into a truth post. Okay. I'm sure you will want to do that. Okay. Got it. So I'm going to put two more in the chat in a moment, but these are some different ways of doing testimonials and visibility. And so let me jump in too. And of course, comments, questions, feel free, jump in too. So this paradox is really fascinating, and our clients are dealing with this as well, is, a lot of praise. Thank you to you, Sheila, and you, Christina, and of course, Deb and Susan and Carol, because it's happening behind the scenes, but it's not getting public. So we want to normalize this, and this is going to make a big difference. And what I've noticed, though, for us as coaches and consultants, not only for ourselves, but also for our clients, are there are some barriers, and I just want to quickly go through these because to know what stops people from giving testimonials or giving shout outs or, public praise are some things that if we know these things, we can get a sense of how to kind of go around them or address them or have conversations. And so, number one, and this is based on a Harvard Business Review study, is this thing called the expertise blind spot. Okay. Which means essentially it's just, and it's as Sheila was just saying a moment ago, is because we have expertise in things and it's the way that we do things, we think that everybody can do these kinds of things. Well, guess what? We've got a blind spot because it's not true. Who we are and what we do in our community and the special touch that we have on things, the way we do things is not a, it's not a thing that most human beings can do. We've got our own flavor, our own special thing. But we believe that everybody, hey, why can't everybody do this if I can do it? And so that stops us from thinking we're special or stops us from thinking that, hey, I have something worthy to post. Okay. The same with your clients. This number two is this appreciation discounting. Oh my gosh. And I would just make a generalization, uh, just a generalization. Midwest girl for me growing up is my mother taught me not to be able to take appreciation. We give her a compliment, give me a compliment, and my first response would be, "Oh, it was nothing." It was like, "Oh, it was just not a big deal. It was so easy for me," or "I just whipped it up," kind of thing. So we essentially, what are we telling the person that's trying to give us some appreciation? We're discounting what they're saying to us. And so my beloved mother, I gave her a little coaching when I was early coach, because when you're an early coach, you want to coach everybody, don't you? You want to give everybody some helpfulness, right? So I said, "Mother, please, I'm giving you a compliment because it's true, and I'm wanting to connect with you. When you tell me, oh, it's nothing, or this old thing, or whatever, it makes me kind of feel sad, and it makes me not want to compliment you again." And so I said, "Here's an idea. Why don't you say, thank you?" And so now my mother, I give her a compliment and she looks at me with a little smile on her face and she says, "Thank you." So we can compliments and appreciation come in so many different ways. It could be a repost, it could be a little shout out, it could be a little comment, it could be something, whatever it is. Let's not appreciate or discount those little small things that are people are trying to connect with us. Okay. And then the third thing, visibility, vulnerability. Okay. Sometimes we just don't want to be out there and seen in the world, and it takes something. And I remember early on I did an article in my local newspaper probably 25 years ago, and a person did a social post that said all she wants to do is to be out there in the world and she just wants to be seen as a big shot. And I have to say, it just was like a dagger in my heart. I didn't want to be seen as a big shot. I just was sharing what I was excited about, in hopes that someone else would see it and appreciate it. So that little thing about being vulnerable. And so honestly, it took a little time for me to say, well, just let her. Had a little female tone to it, let her. She's probably disappointed that she can't get out there in the world and write an article in the op-ed for people all over to see, so hey, just so let her. But that was after a lot of little coaching, self-coaching, right? Great. So jumping in, the expertise blind spot, the discounting, the visibility, vulnerability. Can you resonate with any of them? Can
You
you
know,
see this in clients? Yeah, thank you.
during that visibility, vulnerability, that's kind of that bless their heart moment that you really want to say something a lot ruder, but
Right.
you can only do the bless their heart because it is almost a reflection of how they see themselves and how they are judging you for something that is more of an issue for them than it is for you. But we do take that in as a vulnerable moment at times and wonder, did I do something that made them think I'm showboating and that I really don't
Yes.
care? We question those things in ourselves, and we have to really at times recognize it's more about them than it is about us.
Thank you. Yes. And I was reading on X this morning that let's put any politics or whatever aside, but Elon Musk, one of the richest men in the world, he has been trolled publicly for gaming when he's streaming and he's gaming. He's been publicly trolled, and so now he's gaming and streaming on his private jet while he's flying between locations. So it was like I thought to myself, now what would it be like to be Elon Musk and to be trolled while I'm gaming? I thought that is kind of an interesting thing. These are bigger world, quote unquote, bigger, even everybody's got an issue with this, So what does it take to have some armor on us? Deb Career, as you have, you're trying not to die, live, logo. It's like, what we need to have a bit of a, resilience and steel. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Oh yeah, there we go. We got to have our armor up, not to make thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we like to have the extra things here to show different things and have a little more fun, right? And the displays, right? Displays, yes. So this takes a lot of courage, folks, to be able to do this. And our clients may not have this kind of courage for themselves, and you get this great privilege to help them have a breakthrough. Many people on the planet have never, ever, 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 ever had any sort of public appreciation, let alone appreciation on social. So we're normalizing this, right? We're helping people feel comfortable by being seen and heard and appreciated. Okay, so I think we are duty bound now. We are duty bound. We had to take an oath that we are going to step into another level of this for ourselves, model the way. That's what we do in the council. Okay, great. All right, so finishing up here, and all right, let me ask you this. Have you enjoyed our conversation, and have you gotten something new, a new insight, a new takeaway? Give me a little sparkle, little yes, 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 yes. Thank you, thank you. Okay, great.
Sparkle, sparkle, sparkle.
Thank you, thank you. Angela, I love it. We appreciate you so much. Thank you.
I can definitely relate to the expert, the blind spot thing. I mean, if I know something, surely everybody else does, right? But when you're in a niche industry, it's not true.
Yeah. Well, and so this is thank you, Angela, for bringing this up, because this is a multi-layered thing for us to think about. Is it kind of comes up about, well, who am I to do this? And why am I to do this? And it'd be uncomfortable to do this. And maybe I'll just go and, I don't know, read a book or do something else or watch YouTube, cats on YouTube or whatever, instead of doing this. So we can find 1,000 different reasons to not do it. But I want to leave here today with a challenge for all of us to start taking some action. And I've got some next action points that I want to share with you, and we're going to complete in just a couple minutes here. Okay, so, all right. And, a quote that I think is just really important for me to remember, and I wanted to share with you, is it's not about us having the pressure to be everywhere, okay? We don't have to be everywhere. We don't have to do everything. And Angela, to your point, it's really about being intentionally unforgettable, right? And or intentionally memorable, right? So are we setting ourselves up to be memorable and engaging to the people that we want to truly connect with, okay? To our ideal clients, to our dream 100, whatever it is, okay? So, couple things that we can just take away and doing is just reminding ourselves, and I remind myself of this all the time, is that private praise, we have to translate that, as Sheila said, into some documented evidence, okay? and to be strategic about the visibility that we're having. Because then the next thing that happens is once we're strategic about the visibility is people start to recognize our authority, which then turns us into the category of one. Okay. And again, people are going to want to work with the category of one, the very, very best, the people that have documented success. So we've got to have visible evidence of the impact that we're having. Okay. And that can be from colleagues, it can be from clients, it could be from partners, it can be a whole variety of things. It doesn't only have to be from clients or from people who know us, like us, and trust us. Okay. And if you're starting off a new launch, the paradox is we don't have new clients that have already been through your program. But guess what? You've got people that have worked with you in the past that can give you a general kind of testimonial. And let's just keep it really, really simple, ladies and gentlemen, it's just 3 parts. Okay. What was the specific situation that the person could bring up? And what was your contribution? Then what are the results? Just really, really 3 easy parts is, hey, I had a question about this, or I had a situation where I wasn't sure about this. And, uh, you help them understand this, work this out. You were able to help them with this. And now I'm able to do this. Okay. It's kind of, the whole thing that we've also been talking about is what was the before, what was the breakthrough, and then what was the benefit. So these are just three different kinds of ways of discussing this. Just really, really, really simple. Okay. We don't want to make this complicated. And then finally, how can you use testimonials, and how can you ask, hey, you can do things like you can say, hey, I could write this up for you, or we could just quickly record this. I can have my VA send this over to you, or hey, would you mind just jumping on LinkedIn or something, to be able just to do something really quickly, but giving people a little framework would be really, really great. Okay. Even something like they gave you some praise, and as Sheila Anderson was just saying is, hey, would you mind jumping on and just posting that? I would love to have you post that, or I would like to post that for you. Okay. And then finally, hey, some places that you can start using this public visibility. Think about using it in your email signature at the very bottom. Okay. Switching it up. That makes it kind of interesting, doesn't it? In any sort of sales or marketing materials, of course, that's pretty obvious. Social media, pinned content, really, really great. In proposals and presentations, weaving that into podcast interviews, things of whatever you're doing, and also in nurture sequences, and using it in the grow model when you're having conversations with people, incorporating just a really nice kind of easy way of, I was working with this client, Jane, and she mentioned that, she was dealing with something similar. I helped her get her frameworks together and her models, and now she's able to go out in the world much more confidently because she's got systems that she can use and she can trademark, so thinking about what could be the simple way to do this. All right. All right. Finally, let's remember, hey, you are awesome. You really are awesome. What you do in the world matters. And we are also, all of this appreciation is it fuels everything for your business. Okay. Helps you with your revenue, helps you with recognition, your referrals, visibility, value. And we as a council, we are all flying really high. We've got to fly even higher together. And so when one of you does this, we get to all fly on your coattails, which is really fantastic, and tag and be able to essentially do a +1 to everything that's being said about you. So we get to benefit from when one person gets appreciation, we get to jump in and share as well. All right. Thank you. Thank you. We are now in World Appreciate Your Coach Consultant Week. Hey, why? Because we can, and we're going to extend it for this next upcoming week. There have been some great posts where we're going out and appreciating other coaches and consultants. So we're taking this topic and putting it into action. And then next week, hey, we're using the Easter theme because we're talking about, this is so critical right now, is we've got to have more baskets of revenue, more different ways. We've got to have more colorful eggs. We need to diversify our business because no one knows what the economy will be like next week, let alone next month and next year. So the more diversified, but with the common themes that bring it all together, the better for you. So thank you. Thank you. And I'm going to put more prompts in the chat, but I'm curious about what's your biggest takeaway? What's your biggest takeaway from our time together? So I'll stop sharing. Thank you. And thank you for being here. This has been so fun, hasn't it? Thank you. Great, great, great. Good. What's your biggest takeaway? Jump in and I'm going to put some more in the chat. We want to hear your voice. Who
It
wants
is
to
not
jump in?
impolite or rude to ask for this.
Right. We need to give up the Midwestern or the Southern nice, don't we, Deb? Yeah. Yeah.
And
it's really great.
Don't be shy. Don't be shy. That's the main
Thank
thing,
you,
right?
John. Beautiful. Don't be shy. Right. Exactly. Good, good, good. Who else? Jump in.
Shine bright.
Time's right.
Shine
John's
bright.
right.
Yep. There you
That's
go.
very nice. Thank you. Good. Who
My-
else?
My big takeaway is I, you know, I think one of the
Christina,
reasons-
give us some more volume, dear. Give
Oh,
us some
yeah,
more volume.
sorry.
We want to hear
Sorry.
you.
I
Loud
was-
and
okay.
proud.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Um,
Please go ahead.
okay. Is that better?
It is better. Thank you.
Okay,
Yes.
sorry. My microphone volume was down. I think one of the reasons why we don't ask is because we're afraid of someone saying, I did not like working with you, right? Like we're so afraid of rejection but like really, like if you've gotten to the point where you're actually asking someone for a testimonial, you probably already know that they like working with you. So, and they want to help you, especially if they liked working with you. And so there's just no reason to be afraid to ask.
Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, and couldn't it also be reciprocal too, that we could also normalize a session where we're appreciating each other, and how could we turn that into a social post? Because they're going to love it as well, right? Yeah, thank you. Takes courage, Christina, doesn't it? And you've got it. You're leading the way. Good. Thank you. Thank you. Who else? Biggest
One
takeaway
thing
from our
that I-
time together.
One
Yeah,
thing that I take away
Rachel.
from this, sort of on the other side of the fence, is don't hold up I shouldn't hold my appreciation. Sorry, Jaws is rudely interrupting me. I shouldn't hold my appreciation for other people in my heart.
Oh, isn't that sweet?
That was beautiful,
that's so
Angela.
true.
That was beautiful.
Yeah, very nice. Right. Yeah. 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 Thank you, Angela. When we hold it in our heart, it's really nice. But isn't it kind of selfish there? I'm not saying for you specifically. I'm just saying in general, right? Now you bring such a great point. Now more than ever, the world needs us to share our appreciation, our acknowledgement of other people, right? Yeah, we are raising the vibration of the world, and that's what coaches and consultants and human beings have the opportunity to do. So, yep, Susan Younger said that was a mic drop. Angela, thank you. Yes, thank you. How about a couple others and we'll complete? Biggest takeaway, Molly, jump in. Thank you.
Make it simple.
Yes, exactly.
Simple.
Thank you.
And
Right.
if they can't figure out how to put it together, let me help you. Let me ask you questions, or let me phrase it, and then you approve it.
Yeah, thank you very much. Hey, we get endorsements on LinkedIn. We could be turning those into social posts too. How many of you have been doing that? That's gold right there. You've already mined. Turn that in and ask them. Thank you, Molly. Very good. Hey, we cannot wait. There's going to be an explosion of endorsements and testimonials for you very soon. Now that you've gotten the strategy, you're going to going to be great. Can't wait to see it. Yeah. Thank you. Carol, jump in. Biggest takeaway.
I loved the notion of systematizing, as Deb talked about in her thank you for being my podcast guest. And I appreciated that because I have an awful lot of people who will say, oh, yes, I'll write a testimonial, but they don't.
Yeah,
So there's not a
absolutely.
moment, where they feel like obligated to follow through.
Right, right. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, very nice, Carol. Yep, systematize it. Doesn't that always work, right? Good. Anyone else? Biggest takeaway before we complete?
I love, so I just feel like I say ditto, right? What everybody just said. But I loved the phrase that you put up there, the key insight of revenue doesn't follow impact. Revenue follows the visible evidence of impact. I
Thank
love that.
you. Thank you very
Like a
much.
part of
Thank
it.
you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. If it can't be seen or experienced or expressed or demonstrated, it's, we're in the invisible service business, right? And also back to what Angela said is people are keeping this in their hearts too. And we need to be able to be out in the world expressing it, right? It's now more than ever really important. Great. Thank you. Anyone else? Biggest takeaway before we complete? Great. Hey, folks, take yourself off mute if you will. Loved our time together. Wow, what a difference we made today. Raise
Yay!
the
Very
vibration.
encouraging.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
Good.
you.
Yay!
We'll see you next week with lots of Easter egg.
Woo!
Divert
Can't
eggs in our
wait
basket.
can't
Everybody.
wait to
Thank
see the
you.
chat.
Bye.
Thank you. Yep. Save the chat. Be sure to save the chat. Yeah. Thank you. Great. Love all of you. Thank you. Bye. Thank you.
Thanks again, Kathleen. This is
Bye.
great.
Thank you, John.
Carol.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye. Bye, Carol. Thanks.